Welcome back to Zelda 2. Alright, time for an immediate fight. Right, so last time we tackled the Island Palace. This episode we've got a lot of back and forth, so this is gonna be the last particularly long episode of the series. Which means it's now the perfect time to bring up the manual. The thing I didn't bring up until the very end of the first game, yeah, we're going into it now, because, you know, I feel like manuals are a lost art, and this one is actually pretty good. But also, I'm mainly doing this so I can see if I can figure out what my favorite Link is, and all this arts. But yeah, I mentioned before, I do genuinely like the story they've provided. A lot more expansive than what the game itself gives you, and I think that's pretty neat. But also, there's other bits, like the page that introduces the concept of dying, where Link himself is saying, "When I have no more lives left, that's the end of me." Which is a very funny way to put it.
So do you want to go, like, page by page through the manual, or...?
I figured we'd kind of just go through it and see what catches the eye.
Well, I pulled it up off mic just to make sure that it would work, and I've already pointed out to you that the first image we see has somebody who I genuinely thought was Link for a bit. Because why are you putting somebody else in a green tunic and hat like that?
That's his thing.
And also, I genuinely can't remember the character's name from Toho that this looks like, but someone from Toho is here. Maybe. Marissa doesn't have that hat. Somebody has that hat.
Yeah,
Marissa's a witch, right?
Yeah, she's got the classic witch hat. Oh, and while we're going, I should mention really quickly, we did get the raft in the previous dungeon, and we used it. It works exactly like the raft in Zelda 1, but there are fewer opportunities to use it.
Hold on, we need to go back to the overworld. Look at this.
Yeah, that guy?
Look at this big-ass Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's the terrifying River Devil. And also, a route I don't want to take just yet. You might have noticed, but those guys are invincible right now. We need a new spell if we want to actually fight them.
Also, I said spider, but this is a river devil, and that's clearly my buddy Ultros from Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, don't tease the River Devil kids.
Anyways, I'm not done talking about this first image. Why do the Moblin look like they weren't drawn into this scene? Why do they look like they were added here in post?
They're just so very big.
I guess that it's the scale. Like, why are they huge? They're not that big, right? At least not supposed to be facing off against, like, building-sized dudes, right?
I don't think so. Although, everything in the first game was kind of the same size, including the, Lynels, which are pretty big in Breath of the Wild. Those are some guys with some... quite a bit of scale, really. Alright, so let's see. I cannot help you. Well, you know what can help the manual? One thing I like is when the manual mentions that when you leave the castle, the journey has finally begun. You can see much of the lay of the land in Hyrule due to its clean air. Like, what? Are we saying that South Hyrule was polluted and that's why you could see so little of it at a time? Like, what? Seems like a bit of a non sequitur.
It was the late 80s, everybody was focused on saving the planet.
Yeah, Hyrule's so clean. If you tried to go on an adventure in real life, you couldn't do it, because it's too polluted. Also, this lady is thirsty. Good for her. Well, we'll get her some water from the fountain. Here you go.
She saw you come with that water and try to walk away.
Look, Lynn just came up to this lady with water cupped into her hand. Was she supposed to say no? I mean, yeah, but still. Alright, this magic will make your sword shoot fire. Right, so this is the ability we've wanted. It's fire. And yeah, if you can't kill an enemy, maybe you need to use fire instead. There's also another ability that we're kinda gonna need against certain enemies.
Anyways, back to the manual. I feel like we have to mention the art with the young prince and the whip.
Yes, why does he have that?
And he's Zelda's older brother. Why does he look 8 and Princess Zelda looks 25?
He's that much of a fail son. He's such a fail son that he's still the type to go, Papa, I want the Triforce! And he looks 10 because of it.
We're not even talking about his fucking stand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the wizard that casts a spell and dies. But yeah, I like that image because the story tries to convince you, like, oh, you know, after all of this was done, he sort of regret his actions, and, you know, he kind of wanted to make amends by letting his sister, like, go into stasis so that maybe someday somebody could save her. He did bring a whip to the encounter, though. He did have that on hand.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm not through the manual yet, but we don't see him, like, not with the whip. Like, he's in one image and he's whipping his sister.
Yeah. And some other bystander.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. Big fan of this art of Link fighting a 50-foot-tall suit of armor and the helmet's breathing fire at him.
Yeah, that's Helmet Head. Definitely, greatly expanded upon in this image. Because that was just bullets.
I also like them trying to make Link look intimidating. He still looks like a 12-year-old.
Alright, so, my next thing to bring to the table is encountering Ganon's underlings. Oh dear! By an unexpected chance, Link has strayed from the road and entered a forest. Just then, the shadow of the enemy. When Link walks off the road, Ganon's underlings approach, watching for a chance to attack. Which is kind of what happens due to the way this game is programmed. Like, when you walk along a road, it's probably going to take enough time that when you get off of the road, you'll immediately spawn things. So it's just a bunch of demons, respecting the fact that you are on, like, a paved road. But the moment you're off of it, oh, it's on. They're gonna get you.
I also just have to call out, when Link's image doubles with those symbols, what a weird way to say that. You normally say, like, when Link collides or maybe touches the enemy, it would trigger a combat encounter.
Yeah, that is a weird one.
We were still figuring out what to call things.
Also, I do like... Bash! Link has brilliantly defeated the enemy, and a number has appeared after the enemy is scattered. Again, I feel like manual writing is a lost art, you know? You just don't get anything like this anymore. In that, we don't get manuals anymore, but still. Somebody had fun writing this. Also, we've arrived in Darunia, one of the most fittingly named towns, as it were. So this is where the backtracking comes in. Technically I could have gone to the right to avoid some time, but we're gonna come to the town first and get a bit of a lay of the land. See what needs to be done. It's oh, I'm speeding through. The palace has a false wall. Buddy, that's an understatement.
Don't tell anyone I told you that. I need to skip town now. What?
That was hanging on nothing. Alright, so we actually want to get on top of these roofs, which is not normally a thing we need, but we want to enter this chimney right here. Alright, who's in here? Be you wizard or be you knight? You are knight. Alright, so that can only mean we're getting our other move. When you jump, press up to stab. So yeah, we got downwards cleave, and now we got upwards cleave. So, whoop. If anything's above you, it's going down.
Kind of embarrassing we had to be taught that.
Wait a minute, when I jump upwards, I can point my sword up. Damn, I'm smart. Double Demon Fang! So there's so many Eyes of Ganon.
I hate NPCs in this game. They all say nothing, some of them turn into monsters.
Alright, rescue the kidnapped child on the island.
The what? I didn't know. I'm trying to help Princess Zelda. There's been a child that's been kidnapped?
Apparently so. And I've watched enough Zets where now I just think, save the kidnapped child. Alright, so yeah, upwards cleave is definitely gonna help us in our journey. But you know what else is gonna help us in our journey? Level ups. I adore the picture of Link flexing muscles.
Also appreciate him casting a spell.
Yep. There's a slightly better version of that, image. We also actually do get the, enemy names in the manual as well. We'll actually introduce you to, the enemies, give you the in-game art and more official art, which is really just kinda nice, you know? Like, look at that Garaya. That's just what the Garaya's gonna look like, but this is what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be this dude. But yeah, and then we get one of my favorite lines in the manual. If Link is defeated, Ganon will return. Oh no, I've been done in. If Link loses all of the lives he's been given without putting a good enough fight, Ganon will return, and that's the end of the game. Yeah, Mario's got Mamma Mia, Link has, oh no, I've been done in. He just slowly turns to the camera and then falls over dead as he says that. Anyway, here's a Lindal. That's how you don't get done in. Oh, and no actual level for that one, we're just taking across the bridge. Right, so this is Maze Island, but we don't really have to navigate anything because where we need to go is just right over here. So yeah, we could attempt to go to the palace, but we of course need to find this kidnapped child. Child obtained.
Not even any dialogue, huh? Just grabbing the kid and going.
Yeah, we just shoved the kid into our pocket. And now we get to walk back to Darunia, which is why I said you might want to go to the right first. You can just do this before you actually go to the village. It will save you time. But yeah, in addition to just telling you about the enemies in general, the manual does actually tell you which projectiles you can't deflect with your shield, which is honestly really helpful. You got the chain hammer, you got the axe, you got clubs, you got fireballs. Although there will eventually be a solution to fireballs at least. But yeah, that's... honestly, if anything, that might be the most helpful bit of advice in the manual. Everything else you can kind of feel out pretty well. It is nice knowing ahead of time, hey, which of these things can I just do nothing about? Hammer Bros? Okay, cool. Don't even bother trying to shield.
And I love Link giving the thumbs up next to the shield. But he looks... Is that supposed to be a thumbs down? To indicate that, like, the shield doesn't work, but somebody screwed up?
I think it's supposed to be him, like, putting his finger to his cheek, like,
Oh! Doing the thinking gesture. Okay. That makes sense.
Oh man, my shield doesn't work for these things.
Anyways, there's the much more important art in the top right that I think
Yes.
you want to talk about.
Magic.
Magic!
This needs to be somebody's emote somewhere. Please tell me somebody's used this. They had to have.
Fucking line sticker ass looking art.
I also do just like the wording of, magic can be used only with the points that Link has, but go ahead and use it if you think the enemy's too strong. Honestly, yeah, just use things. Don't be like me, use things. Anyway, speaking of magic, this magic will strengthen a shield. That's a weird way to phrase this, because this is a reflect spell. Thankfully, the actual name of the spell is the helpful thing. Certain projectiles we can't stop normally, but now we can. Reflect is a little pricey, so pretty much only use it in the rooms you know you need it, but this is a necessary spell. You won't be able to get through the next dungeon without it. Speaking of which, time to go back to Maze Island. Yeah, that's why I had to bring out the manual for this one. It's just a lot of back and forth. Again, I could have gone and rescued the child before we needed to save the child. And make it a complete non sequitur, but I figured I'd get the upwards cleave and context. There is, of course, another bit of Link dialogue. If I ask the people of the town, they might tell me about the palaces, thought Link, and he decided to drop in the town. Yeah, that's just what he decides, every town. It also specifically mentions there's swordsmen in every town. There's 2 swordsmen in the game, and they're not as important as the wizards. Like, they do mention the wizards eventually, but for some reason the swordsmen get first billing.
Huh. Yeah, that's so weird, because it says there are swordsmen in some of the towns at the end of that paragraph, and then there's a cutout box that says the same thing. It says, learn the jump thrust and the downward thrust. There are some places where you can't go if you don't. Don't you need jump to get into one of the palaces?
Yeah, like, the jump spell is actually useful.
Don't you, generally speaking, need shield even though you refuse to use it?
Yeah, that's the smart strategy to use, if you actually want to play the game correctly. But yeah, like, the magic is more necessary, and like, there is of course plenty of passages about the magic, but yeah, the fact that they specified the swordsmen from the towns is weird. Because you never need either the downwards or upwards cleaves. They're helpful, don't get me wrong. Actually, wait, there's one boss where I think it helps a little bit, but you're kind of gonna need height in general in that one. It'll be a while before we get to it, so, you know. You got the context here, but we'll have to wait for it a bit. But yeah, typically you need the spells, and there will be checks for the spells as well. Like, we needed jump to get to one, we needed fairy to get to one. It does honestly do a pretty good job of making sure all your stuff's up to date. It's a bit more subtle about it than your average Zelda, but they do make sure to include little checks here and there. But yeah, it does take a little bit for it to say, hey, by the way, you also get magic in towns as well. Just so you know. You have to wait until you get the art of Link being flummoxed by a door, though. Pictured here, Link is a vampire and cannot enter without permission. Yeah, the rest of the manual does give good advice about palaces. It tells you everything you need to know about some of the enemies. It also tells you about the final dungeon as well, which is pretty cool. Like, hey, here's what you're fighting towards. Good luck with that one. Also, don't go to it early, even though chances are there's no way you're going to find it early. It's kinda hard to just accidentally waltz into it. So yeah, anyway, this is Maze Palace on account of being the palace in the maze. Here we also see the fact that, yeah, Stalfos have helmets and shields, so kinda hard to hit with a downward thrust. And also, once again, I have to mention... Oop, geez. Almost didn't make that one. That I do feel like the sprite work is pretty good, or the tile sets are pretty good. Even if it's not memorable, it at least looks cool. Yes, that fire hurts you. Oh, okay. It's one of those boomerang maces. Gotcha.
I threw that and then just vanished into the ether.
I have to go. My planet needs me.
Oh god!
I'm taking a bath. BRB. You see, they're demons, so they can actually bathe in fire as though it were water.
Hey, how come that enemy wasn't there? Oh, there he is.
Oh, also something I learned. Apparently the Wosus don't actually steal experience from you in the Japanese version.
God damn it!
They added that for this one.
The ability to rent games just flummoxed so many game developers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, they even needed that to get people to rent this one.
I want to see the fucking 10-year-old kid in 1988 that was able to beat this in one sitting.
Mm-hmm. God, yeah, again, I must repeat, I can't really fight Iron Knuckles normally. Oh, we got boots. Alright, so yeah, these boots actually let you walk over some water. Not all of it, but some of it. Which does help us leave the Maze Island pretty easily. And we will need it to reach another palace as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, while the manual does have a lot of helpful hints about the items in this game and what they can do, the boots are pretty useless because it's just, according to legend, it is said that if you put on these boots, you can do something extraordinary. Yeah, thanks. that really helps. Also, another thing I should mention. Well, for one, the game does actually tell you that you get 16 magic points per container, so it does actually give you some raw numbers, which is nice. But also its description for spell is magic to cast eerie spells. Its effect is still not fully known. It is said that'll make the enemy tremble in fear, so yeah, you get an example of a few of the spells of the game, but there's one just called Spell, and we don't know what it does. but it will also tell you about thunder, the most powerful of the 8 magics. Which is not one we're going to be getting for a few episodes still. Also, I love the description of Doll is, really looks like Link.
It's a good image, too. Anyways, those are Riz robes you fought, right?
Yep.
It's quite the design.
Oh, the fact that they're just a white robe? Yeah, yeah. I'd say. Actually, wait, hold on a sec. So, like many enemies in this game, they're not quite the same as the proper enemies in the series. So, actually, no, they're not whiz robes. They're just wizards. How unfortunate.
Man, I wonder if any of them are, you know, particularly good at being a wizard. Wonder what sort of adjective you might want to use for such a wizard.
Morons. So anyway, yeah, welcome to the Maze Palace. Lynn just kills the KKK. Don't know why they're here, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh. It's one of those things where, like, yeah, maybe somebody should have done a second pass on this, but at the very least, at least we get to stab them to death with a sword.
Mm-hmm. We get to hit them with their own magic, and they die. They are their own undoing. Okay, you wait your turn. I've got a bubble to deal with. I don't need you. Also, I've got to use MP. Which isn't great because, you do need magic for the boss. The reflect spell is necessary. And I'm kind of running low. This is the reason I don't want to use the shield spell. I'm constantly paranoid that I'm gonna run out of one thing or the other. Thankfully, there are at least some places to refill your magic in dungeons, which... I mean, one has to come along before too long, otherwise I'm not fighting the boss.
So one thing about this game that I remember is that the downward thrust isn't always your best option, but it's always the option you want to use just because it's fun.
Yes, it is very fun to pogo on enemies. Which, you know, they made an entire DuckTales game based off of that idea, so it had merit.
I was gonna say, yeah, you could just play DuckTales instead. That game is built around that.
And I don't know if this is true for anybody else, but also a pretty tough game. I didn't play it that much as a kid, but I had a friend who had, and I borrowed it, and I was not good at it.
I mean, Nintendo platformers just had that reputation of being pretty difficult. It would depend, you know, on the franchise, obviously. Like, you could get through Mario relatively easy, but then something like fucking Ninja Gaiden would show up, and it's like, well... good luck with the birds, idiot.
So I think I have DuckTales Remastered. Due entirely to the fact that, I probably wanted to get it before rights things may or may not have gotten in the way.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Got a statue, got some magic. Sometimes hitting a statue will make a man. Thankfully, it did not here. We're just swooping in couples now, apparently. This is the couples dungeon. We all do things in twos here, no threes. Nope, I'm killing you. I'm getting rid of all of you. We do not glorify violence except against wizards. There, it's a-okay.
No sense of right or wrong.
I feel like this is gonna be another wizard room. Oh, hey. Well, I said feels like another wizard room, but no, it just seems like it's Stalfos here. Stalfos and tempting you to use more of your MP, cause you gotta jump up to get the experience points. So this is very straightforward for a place called Maze Palace. There are definitely a few places where it's a little hard to know where to go, but no more than your usual palace. Anyway, here's the boss. He's very fast. This is Karok. He's just like the other wizards. Sit in the corner and reflect his spells, and you're good.
No, how could I have foreseen that?
My strategy was flawless! Alright, and here we go. Decided to skip a level up, right in time to get all the points I need for max attack, which is very expensive. But hey, now I've got 8 attacks, so if nothing else, I kill things as shortly as I possibly can.